I probably should have chose the countdown option, but it's too late.
It's okay, no worries.
To everyone watching, hello, welcome to the Dishes and Dimes weekly show in collaboration with Basketball News. I know it's a busy night. Most of y'all are probably not even home, waiting at polls for what, like in rain or shine for hours now. And hopefully, whoever's voting gets to complete their vote and submit their ballots. And we're already getting word of like results, but I think Noor and I will just kind of drop whatever is breaking
Bombs.
into this broadcast exactly, just to like meld the worlds of basketball and politics
and just reality. Yeah,
exactly, reality. But yeah, it's such an odd night to do this, and it's funny because there was actually quite a bit of off-season news today.
Yeah.
So to start, I think our first topic, of course, will be the off-season trade rumors that we were just kind of bombarded with today. I think there were like several important tidbits that were dropped from various accounts and sources and all of that. And a lot of them sounded plausible. That's why I'm inclined to kind of believe a few of them.
Ooh.
The one that kind of shocked me was I expected that Chris Paul would leave OKC. You know, it's not a situation where it seems that they're going into a full rebuild. They lost their coach. And most of their cast is just very, very young players. And Chris Paul is like an accomplished veteran, of course. So I wasn't surprised that he intended to leave, but I was surprised that his options that he's listed apparently were the Knicks and the Lakers. The Lakers make sense, maybe not logistically, but it makes sense in terms of where he'd want to be, and maybe it gives him a clearer chance to win a ring in the near future. The Knicks option is like what confused me. Like, what does he want from the New York Knicks?
Are you sure it's the Knicks that he listed? Like, did someone mistake what he was trying to say? Maybe he meant like...
No, apparently it's
the
sources say his choices are the New York Knicks or the LA Lakers. I get the Lakers. No, it makes no sense to Knicks.
Because the Lakers, like you said, makes sense. Like, I want Chris Paul to leave just because I feel like before he retires, I want him to have a ring. His career for me would just be solidified with him winning a ring, which obviously this is best bet would be with the Lakers. They need a ball handler. You've got Chris Paul, who's the best one. And just having, I mean, it'll be fun to see Rondo and Chris Paul going at each other, but having Chris Paul there with LeBron would be great for LeBron as well. And that would be a sure way.
Rondo's probably a goner if they get Chris Paul.
He's not staying. There's no way, right? There's no way. Like, they have serious beef, I feel like outside of like they would probably fight if they saw each other. So I see that happening for sure. And that makes sense. Like, as much as I hate him being on the Lakers, if that's how he wins the ring, all the power to him. That's fantastic. But the Knicks, what do you want to do with the Knicks?
Yeah,
does he want to be like the Messiah? Like, he wants to have one last hurrah and like try to pull it. I don't know. That makes no sense. Or is it just money related?
Perhaps, yeah. They're most likely to just want a big name guy and perhaps like throw a good sized contract at him, even though he still has like years left on this current one. But yeah, he'd probably get them into the playoffs. But anything beyond that, like, I don't see.
Well, not to mention the Eastern Conference is getting so much worse. Like, if let's say, I know we're going to talk about all the rumors going forward, but even I think one of the more plausible ones, not to talk about it right now, is probably Harden coming here. And if Harden comes here, like, East is stacked. Like, we have enough people. Exactly. We have enough people. I don't really see how, I don't know, even playoffs, I'd say would be a kind of a big stretch for them. But then again, it's Chris Paul. Like, look at what he did with the OKC. So
no, I understand what you're saying. I don't see that happening unless he's heading there with the intent to bring an older free agent in 2021, because LeBron's a free agent. Like, maybe they have a longevity plan of bringing a ring to New York, to New York finally. Like, I feel like whoever wins at that capacity in New York, like, they'll just be anointed, just go there forever. Like, they're set career wise. But you never know. Like, he does have pull. That's what makes Chris Paul unique. You know, he's so accomplished. He's already a Hall of Famer and all of that. So
I'm a player, like, and I'm like, I need someone to facilitate everything else for me. I'm going for Chris Paul. I'm making sure that I'm letting my GMs know that's who I want over. But it would be so funny if LeBron does go, and then you have the New York face off against LeBron and Chris Paul, and then Kevin and Kyrie.
Oh my God.
Imagine. I'd be so sick.
Ratings wise, that would be amazing. So our next piece of news, I'm actually going to try and find the source tweet just so I can credit her. Ash Nicole Moss, iHeartRadio. She recently reported that apparently the Warriors and the Heat are interested in trading for Giannis. And that Giannis is not prepared to sign long-term with the Warriors, but it's something he would consider with the Heat. So I find this interesting on a couple of levels because she presented the source as saying that the Warriors can present a very, what's the word that she used?
Was it like
attractive package? Yeah, a very attractive package for the Bucks, which is centered around Andrew Wiggins. And I'm thinking, like, besides matching salaries, what's the purpose of a team taking on Andrew Wiggins' contract? That's offloading a bad contract. That's not giving someone value for their 2-time MVP, 25-year-old MVP player. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, it makes no sense to me. And not only that, but like, I feel like even the other side of it, where people are saying that the Heat are interested in trading for
Giannis.
I'm reading the comments that we're getting. So we're hearing that.
I forgot we were getting comments.
Yeah, we're hearing that the Heat are interested in trading for Giannis as well, but they don't want to give Jimmy, Bam, or Hero in the process. So I'm thinking, who is left?
Your ball boy?
Because this is not. I think what Masai did with Kawhi Leonard has kind of messed with people's heads in terms of like what they expect in a trade for a superstar. Like with Kawhi Leonard, he was already like he was obviously a high caliber all-star player who had huge upside. Everyone knew that he would enter the conversation as a top 5 player. Everyone knew that, but there were so many questions as to his health. Like, we did not know his health. We did not know if he would be, like, we thought his career would be cut short due to all of this, mess. Like, he didn't know that he could be the player that he was, that he became today. Like, I remember him talking about right after the championship that he thought maybe I could be a third option again. He did not think in his wildest dreams that he'd be a number 1 guy, after after all of those chronic issues that he was dealing with. That's different. That's the reason why the Raptors were able to just give DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and what was it, like a late first pick in the process in order to get a player like Kawhi Leonard and retain their future. And retain their future in the meantime, like keeping Siakam, keeping OG, and it'll be like, that's insane when you think about it. That would never happen if he was the player he is today.
And I think what they also forget is the fact that Kawhi, we weren't sure if Kawhi was going to suit up. No other teams were sure that if, San Antonio had traded them over, would Kawhi really come through and play? Because he wasn't playing for the Spurs at that point. And what he had told everybody else was that if it's either one of the teams in LA, and if it's not that team, like, I'm not going to play. So that already brought his stock down, like, significantly, because then other teams are like, that's not worth the risk for us.
A huge chance,
exactly. So, and even especially with the Raptors too. Like, I remember when we made that news that we got him. I mean, I'm like Kawhi's biggest fan. So even at that point, I wasn't really sure if that was a good choice, because you just heard so much about how he would rather one of the teams than LA, and if there's not the team, then he's just not going to play. Just like he hasn't been playing in San Antonio. So I think they forget that there were so many different factors that played into it. And then you also are not Masai Ujiri. Like, you're not going to make the calls in the middle of the night with your BlackBerry and pull some strength and be a magician.
Like Kenya.
Yeah, honestly, with next to Barack Obama, like, come on. Yeah. Like, it's not going to be, not them.
What a
Obama's
story.
Whatever too.
No, I think that any package for Giannis, even if it's just for 1 year, because if you're a good team and you're going to get him for 1 year, you're probably going to win the championship if you have the framework and everything.
Absolutely.
I think it would have to be like a young budding star player the deal would have to center around that. And plus, in return, they can't be taking on bad contracts, because right now, like, I think it's fair to say that Andrew Wiggins' contract is not a good contract unless he proves otherwise in the next season. So any team taking on his contract, it would not be for their benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could end up that he's a complete bust, and we can stop having those conversations about will he or won't he. They would have to get into return a benefit at every, you know, angle of the deal. So I think that right now the reason why we were bombarded with all these rumors of potential trades, 1-year trades for Giannis, is because maybe they're testing the waters and seeing their options. But I think ultimately they're just going to try and reinforce their supporting cast, the supporting cast they already have, and just move forward and take another run at a championship with him, because he's already established he's not the type of player who's going to request a trade or force a trade or anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so I think that's the most likely outcome.
That's how I feel too. And that's why I don't know how I feel about Miami rumors. Like, I'm just like, I don't, because of that reason too, because of his loyalty. Like, is he really the kind of guy who's going to go to a team that swept him? Like, he's not going to pull like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like, he doesn't strike me as that sort of person. I think he's someone who's like very into, just based on what I know about him from information we've gotten, that he seems very concerned with how he wants to be perceived as like the hardest worker. Any team he goes to, when they ultimately win the championship, it has to be because of him. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want that kind of, I think he wants that storybook career arc.
Absolutely.
You know, for his NBA career. And it's funny because tell me if you see this as well, but the rumors that we're hearing from Miami kind of remind me of the rumors that the Lakers were leaking about Kawhi. You know what I mean? How it's like it's a done deal. We didn't hear anything about the Clippers. The Clippers, our suspicions of the Clippers were based on seeing Lawrence Frank at the games in Toronto. You know what I mean?
No, it's true.
Like,
it's so true.
They were saying it's a done deal. It's all like, it's finished. Like, you guys shouldn't even try anymore. And then the Clippers just came left field out of nowhere. The most confident team, it seems, out of everyone.
And they took him right from underneath us. Yeah, I don't know why. But even as Miami, I'm just like, you were just in the finals. Like, why are you thirsting after Giannis this bad? If anything, I would be like, well, we're the new the rulers of the East. If you have to go through anyone, you have to go through us. Like, it's not Giannis and the Bucks anymore. It's Miami. It's Jimmy and Miami. So it's weird to see the narrative that like they really want Giannis and they're thirsting over Giannis and all these people are available for trades or whatever. But like you said, like if you're looking at Giannis as a person, I think Giannis in his mind is a good guy. Like he's a good guy of the league. Like he's not gonna be the villain.
Yeah,
exactly. He doesn't want to go against. Nope. He's such a sweet guy though. Like he's such a nice guy. His family, everyone just looks so sweet and earthly. Like he doesn't seem the type who would pull a Kevin Durant. Like I don't see that happening. So I think Miami is like out the waters. I saw the source that you mentioned as well. Like I think it was Hoop Central that tweeted it out, and then I went through the source too, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure if she's trustworthy. It doesn't really.
Yeah, she seems sure of herself, and I don't want to like. Perhaps she really heard this, but it's like,
true.
Who did she hear it from? You know what I mean? Like, I don't doubt that she got this information. You know what I mean?
Because absolutely.
That we've already been hearing. But yeah, like I'm kind of iffy. I think someone mentioned the only Giannis rumor that we should trust, like source wise, is Chris Hayes, because apparently he's cousins with like his girlfriend. so random.
Really?
But yeah, apparently that's what I heard.
Weird. Oh,
and
wow,
he
okay.
always has the breaking news on him. So I guess we should just assume that that what he says is like the truth.
Yeah, honestly, same. And I think Giannis to me doesn't really strike me as someone who's going to leave the Bucks either. Like as much as I would like, I'm a Raptors fan. Yeah, exactly. I'm a Raptors fan. I'll be drooling. I'll be on my knees. Like I'll do whatever for Giannis. But at the end of the day, like I think like I'll be leading the propaganda. But at the back of my mind, I do think that he's so committed to the idea of just being a good guy and bringing a championship to a team that he was drafted. Like he started everything off with, that's been like dying for a championship, that's been loyal to him, and he wants to give that loyalty back. Like he just seems like just a legit, like a good guy. So I don't know if that good guy is gonna make big moves like that. But again, you never know. Like I didn't think Kevin would do what he did, but here we are.
It's true.
Like he just ruined basketball for 3-4 years.
No, it's true. The next topic was one that I really like. That was something. This is something that I've kind of been making up in my head as I go. I'm always looking for ways to trade Ben Simmons because it's my favorite basketball. It's my favorite basketball pastime. I'm always looking for ways to make the roster as easy as possible for Joel Embiid because I'm so sure that he's the best player on the team. Like it's not debate. Like people try to make it seem like Ben Simmons is just as valuable as Joel, but Joel is like the generational talent on the roster. I think as Raptors fans, we'd like to make fun of him because Gasol is such a amazing defender and neutralizes him. But like even when he's on the court with Gasol neutralizing him, making him score 0 points and all of that, he's still a plus on the floor every single time.
I know we always bring up Gasol, but I'm like, they did take us to Game 7 until the very last minute. So like, I don't know if I can.
And he was like
argument,
a plus.
You know what I mean?
I think Joel was like a plus 87 or something that series. Like they lost because they had no backup center. That's literally what they had. Greg Monroe coming off the bench for them as their second big man. That's the only reason they lost that series. But
yeah, they were the closest out of anyone else. Like I'm still more scared of Philly than I would be of anybody else. They're a forest. Like they're so giant that you just can't look over them.
Exactly. I'm like a lot of people say that Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid doesn't work. I don't believe it doesn't work. I think the numbers have shown that it does work, but it doesn't work as well as it can at the moment. And I don't think it's as simple as putting some shooters on the floor. Like you can go and probably win a championship with those two, but it also means that you're more pigeonholed when choosing the surrounding players. You know what I mean? Like you have to be really specific in the type of player that you put around them. And that can be a lot of pressure on a front office. And I'm not sure it's worth it to keep them two.
Yeah.
And Ben Simmons, he's high value. He's young. He's talented. I think it's very simple to just trade him for a more traditional guard. You know what I mean? So of course, today we hear rumors that with Daryl Morey coming to the Sixers, which was a great move for them, they got a top 3, top 4 president of basketball operations in the league now. And of course, James Harden and Daryl Morey are very, very close, have worked together for years. And I was thinking about it today. I don't think I've seen a player as bought into a system as James Harden and Morey ball. You know what I mean? Like he was just 100% all in raining down those threes. He didn't care how much people slandered him.
Don't you worry.
Exactly.
Nothing's gonna stop me.
Yeah, he doesn't care how much people slander him for the style of play. He was just so devoted to the analytics and whatever his GM, his team president, was convinced about. So then we hear rumors today that the Sixers are calling the Rockets about potentially trading for James Harden. And the only way I could see that happening is if they give up Ben Simmons and a lot of future picks, because as we all know, the Rockets are starved of future picks in getting Chris Paul, in getting Russell Westbrook. So what do you think about them potentially making that move?
I think even to start off with the Philly, like I saw a lot of people saying that, we need to trade Embiid. Where's Embiid gonna go? What's gonna happen with Embiid?
Yeah.
And I was kind of sitting there like, Embiid's the best player. Like, why are you trading Embiid? You would trade Ben, if anything, who refuses to shoot. Like, what was his excuse for not taking threes? I'm not going to take them unless I'm the best at them or something.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be low 30s. He wants to do it once he's 40% plus.
How are you going to get to 40% plus without taking those fucking shots, Ben Simmons?
In the gym, in an empty gym.
Doesn't work that way. So I was so confused. I was like, why would you want Ben Simmons? Like that's a guard who can't even really guard. Like he's not really even like he's a ball handler for sure. Like he's amazing at his passing. He creates the space the way that he needs to. But I think a lot of people don't give enough value to a point guard, and they don't realize how vital that position is, and to have a proper IQ there. And we see that with someone like Kyle, someone like Lowry. When you partner them up with anyone, they not only elevate their game, but they elevate someone else's game too. And when you have Embiid, who's fantastic, like he gets his own game going. But I think in order to really get his expertise and like really unlock him and get his full juices flowing, you need someone who produces for him. And I just don't think Ben's that guy. He's gonna, like, if they were able to get Harden, or even I would say they should have gone for Chris Paul. Like that would have been a pretty cool duo, like Chris Paul and
We have someone
Embiid.
suggesting it here. Let's see.
Ooh.
CB3 SGA picks for Ben Simmons, who says no. Honestly, I think that's fair. Like, OKC gets a future star. And Ben Simmons, I believe his contract kicks in, so the salaries wouldn't be too far off. And then you get 2 point guards. You get someone who could be a backcourt partner to CP3 or come off the bench in SGA. And then you get one of the best point guards of all time as well. So I think that the fact of the matter is, like, sure, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid can work. We've seen it work. But I think that in order to get the best out of Embiid, which is worth it, he's a generational talent, you would need a more traditional, more malleable point guard, someone who can do anything on the court.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which I think is fair to say. You know what I mean? It's not a knock to Ben. I think his specific skill set needs a specific kind of big man. Like, imagine him with like a Jokic or something. Like it has to be a more untraditional big man who's more comfortable with taking threes. Because as we know, what does Joel Embiid do best? He is elite in the post. Like, he can do any move in the post. His footwork's amazing. He's not the best 3-point shooter, but what is happening is in this system, he's being forced to take a crap ton of threes. You know, it's not really fair to him.
That's what it is. I think like, if you're gonna give someone flack to, give flack to Ben Simmons. Like, he's a great talent. He's amazing. But I've never bought into the hype, because I just never thought that he really untapped himself the way that you should when you're a pro athlete, was, you know, wanting to make himself better and making himself better for the team. And I think he just doesn't put the team aspect in it. He doesn't understand that it's not just himself that he has
He's scared to look stupid.
Yeah, and it makes no sense. It's like, dude, like, we're in a league where you just get slandered for like looking at someone the wrong way. Like, you're gonna get passed for anything. So for him to come out and his excuse being something like, oh well, I don't want to take it until I'm like at this certain percentage. And it's like, it's the same thing as DeRozan's excuse too. I forget what DeRozan's was, but it was something like I prefer the older ways of playing basketball or something like that. And it's like, okay, well, that's your preference, which is great, but then you're bringing your team down. And that's you don't win championships that way.
Yeah. If anything, like, despite whatever flaws, that's one thing I really enjoy about Pascal, is that he's not afraid to look dumb sometimes. Like, if the team needs it done, he's willing to change his game to make it work, whether he can or can't do it. Like, I think those kind of players are so important when it comes to playing at the highest level. It's one thing to be an all-star, to be a playoff team, to look good. It's another thing to win a championship, and winning a championship, it can look ugly sometimes. It can look unwatchable. I think we saw it with the Lakers. We saw it with the Raptors. Like, even the Lakers, it looked so bad at times when they didn't have their point guard and stuff during the regular season, during, you know, all these game ones where they would look so bad. We saw it with the Raptors in their championship run, where they would get blown out one game and they would blow out the next game. Like, it gets so ugly sometimes. And in order to deal with those ups and downs, you need players who can just go with the waves, you know what I mean? Who aren't afraid to look dumb sometimes. To look inefficient sometimes.
Absolutely. Like, he's costing his team progress. And at that point, like, I'm sure Daryl Morey is going to do the right thing. And if they do bring Harden over, like I said, East, like, do we need the Western Conference? Like, it's going to be so stacked here.
Yeah.
It sucks for us.
No, honestly, I don't even think it sucks for us, because, like, to me, the East being its best is, like, so good for the competition, the talent level. Like, if anything, it'll make, like, I feel like if the East is super weak and the West is super strong, the chances of an Eastern team winning a championship are lower. But now the pressure's on the front offices to beef up these teams even more. Yeah,
that's very true.
So that when they do get to the finals, they're almost a sure thing to win it all. You know what I mean? And we're seeing the last few years, like, Eastern teams, they play defense and they have offenses and they have stars now, like, which is just so cool to me. That's why I kind of hope that Harden does come to the because then what would we have? We'd have 3 top 5 players, perhaps, like Giannis, Kevin Durant, and Harden. That's insane. They would have Steph Curry and LeBron. Those would be the 2 top 5 guys, right?
I was just thinking Kawhi. Too. I was like, Kawhi counts. Come on.
Yeah, Kawhi. I know some people will say injuries.
Not sure if he's top 5. What I hate? When people make fun of him still, they're like, "Oh yeah, load management and whatnot," and I'm like, "Dude, if he doesn't load manage, he can't play next season.
He
Like that's
dies.
how
Like
yeah,
he
he's
will
basketball
die.
is done. Basketball is not life for this guy. Like he needs
Ball is
support.
not life for
Yeah,
Kawhi, and that's okay. Ball is
it's
sometimes.
fine. He won us a championship, so I mean, he still got it.
Exactly. You don't want to see his quad fall off the bone.
No, you do not. It's like a slow rib.
So, with all of these trade rumors popping up, I think that the stories of like Oladipo and Bradley Beal have kind of died down. I was kind of unsure in the beginning because everyone was like hashtag free Beal. But I think now I'm more inclined to believe that he probably stays put in Washington and perhaps tries a year with a healthy John Wall before anything happens. So, what do you think happens with Beal? And then we'll talk about Oladipo afterwards.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that they think when he signed that deal or when he said all those things about wanting to stay a Wizard forever, he had like his fingers crossed at his back, like he did not mean it. He was just like, oh, until I get the fuck out of here. But I think he had a clear chance to leave. Like there were teams who were thirsting over him. There were teams that were willing to offer him money. And if he chose to stay with the Wizards, I don't know. I don't, like you said, I don't see him going anywhere. I don't think they've had a proper season with Wall healthy. I'm not sure what he would look like coming back healthy now. I've seen pictures of him. It doesn't look like he's working out that much. So it'll be kind of up in the air, just depending on what the performance is going to be like. But I think, at least like you said, for the next couple of years, he will see how this team goes, because we don't factor in money for these guys too, and money definitely does a lot of talking.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of yeah, someone mentioned this till the trade deadline at least. Yeah, I agree. I think that the trade deadline is going to be super interesting this season because I think a lot of teams are just kind of in a wait and see mode. Even with Oladipo, I do see like maybe the Pacers check out what it is like with Nate Bjorkgren. They have a new head coach now. Maybe they want to see what it's like after Oladipo gets a long break before hopping into full-time basketball again. So it's weird because I think that both teams can actually be quite good. I think that the Wizards can be quite good if John Wall doesn't look like a shell of himself. And the Pacers, I think, can be really good if everyone is bought in. So
and healthy.
Those are interesting cases. Yeah, I think that the first few months of the season, I think those are two teams to watch because ultimately how well or how poorly they do kind of ends up affecting the whole conference.
Yeah, really. Seriously. It'll be interesting. There's going to be, I mean, we would have to hear pretty soon, right? Like if they're thinking about having the league reopen December 22nd, then it would have to be pretty fast. Ooh, too much hoops. I agree. I think the Wiz have to see that backcourt again for a season before they give up on it. Yeah, absolutely. They owe themselves that. They owe the players that. They haven't been healthy. They haven't seen what they've been at their best at. And the same thing goes for Oladipo as well. Like we haven't, as much as I'm sure other teams are interested, and Pacers probably want to shop him as well, but he's such a good talent that you owe him the time and the development to come back from his injury and just see where he's going to be at. Because I think even for other teams, that might be a little bit of a risk to shop him because you just don't know what he's going to look like.
Yeah. This is the final question, I think, in relation to like off-season rumors that we've been hearing or kind of, but do you think that I know a lot of people worried, like it seems that the conference is moving at 100 miles per hour. Do you think that the Raptors make like a reactive trade to adjust to all of the talent right now and all of the competition? Now that we kind of know what the team has, we know what they're capable of. This is a team that can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
If the right things happen, if they fill out the center position correctly, if Kyle Lowry doesn't decline or anything, like if they keep playing at this level, they could probably make it further than they did in the bubble. So, do you think that the Raptors make a reactive trade to put them in better positioning, or do you think they kind of just stand pat, stay put, and save all their marbles for 2021.
Right. On one hand, I did watch Masai's presser, and I don't know what other people got the feeling from it, but my understanding after the presser, after watching it, was that he pretty much wanted the team to stay as it is. Like, he was very vocal about bringing everybody back, having the same group of guys, kind of pretty much just was reiterating throughout the entire the entire post conference. And I think going forward with that, and a lot of people, including myself, agree, because I don't think we need to make any changes. I think the team that we have is fantastic. We know what we can do. We know what our shortcomings were. I don't need to go down that rabbit hole again, but all we were missing was just Siakam putting up maybe 16 consistent points per game. Like, that's pretty much all we needed throughout, just to even get to the conference finals. So I don't know about that. But if we do let Terrence go, that's a spot that needs to get filled.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's actually such an important point. We should probably discuss that.
So I don't know where. I mean, I've heard that they're shopping guys. They're looking at guys working out and stuff right now. But we still don't know what the situation is going to unfold, if they're even going to let him go. But from my understanding,
or if they do trade him.
Yeah, if they trade him, true.
If they trade him, which would be kind of a gross thing to keep him in the NBA, it would be disappointing. It's a better option than keeping him, but it'll still be gross. But if they do end up trading him, like I can see it being something where they might package him with Norm or something, because Norm's a tough one because he's up for a lot of money. He's so good. He's not a $10 million player. He's more like maybe an $18 million player.
Yeah, he's high up there.
And in order to pay Freddie, in order to pay OG, in order to perhaps keep Lowry, to keep another max spot open, they're probably going to have to end up trading him, unless he takes like even a pay cut, which is, I don't see him doing that at all. He's young.
Did you see he got understand the grind tatted on his arm? Like, I don't think he's going to take a payday. He's going to take a pay cut. He's here for his moolah.
Nope.
He's cashing bags. He wants it.
Nope. Yeah. And no, he's earned it. He's so good.
Yeah, he's fantastic. That's why it sucks. I don't want to see him go. Like,
exactly.
My favorite memory of him last season was Nick Nurse asking him to give him consistent 20 points a game or 18 points.
And then he did.
And he's like, and he's like 25 points a game. He's like, I'll give you superstar numbers every night. And he did for consecutively, like constantly. So it'd be hard to see him go, but that does make sense that if we need to make some room for a big guy to come here, then you got to load off the numbers.
And to pay.
And who do you choose?
Fred.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who do you choose?
Tough. And then, what was I going to say? Right. So I can see him being a useful piece to Fred in particular, being a useful piece to a lot of teams that are just missing that extra offensive punch. And it sucks because that would probably mean that the Raptors lose Norm and then lose what could have been of Terrence Davis. Obviously, he destroyed his chances of having like the career that he potentially could have had. It's so disturbing. And then you couple that with the fact that like all of this kind of hinges on Matt Thomas's development, because I see Brad saying that right now. I could see Masai holding on to Norm until the trade deadline, and then some borderline contender gets desperate. I can see the same thing as well. And then I think those few months while he's holding on to Norm, the onus is going to be on Matt Thomas to kind of produce and to show what he's about as a 25-year-old or 26-year-old. I think he is now. So he's going to be a 26-year-old sophomore. I think his potential is super high. I think it just kind of depends on how the team works around him. I don't know. I'm high on Matt, not because we're desperate now, but
no, I've always loved Matt.
I'm high on
Matt. 99%. You can't not.
Because what's so funny about Matt is just a matter of how he adjusts to the system moving forward. But what we do know right now is that he can work in defensive schemes and that his shooting is for real. Like, his shooting is not.
And I think we knew about his shooting, but the most important part was seeing his defense come through. And that at that point we were like, wow, the Raptors can really get anyone to play defense. Like, that's fantastic.
But like he's not physically gifted. Like, he doesn't have the fast feed and the ridiculous IQ, but he can follow rules, which is so important. Like, he's bought in, which is really cool.
Yeah, he seems to really get along with Fred and Lowry and stuff too. So I'm sure that kind of um, leadership around him would be great for his talent and just for his persona. That'd be great for him moving forward. And I'm really excited to see. I've been thinking of his name the entire time you've been talking, and I can't remember his name. The new guy.
Who's it? What team?
Ricky, our team.
A new guy.
Paul Watson Jr. I'm stupid. Paul Watson Jr.
Yes.
He would get more minutes
as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go high stocks on him now.
He kind of looks like. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he kind of looks like what was his player comp? He kind of looks like I think in terms of like that mid-range area. I think he's more of a two-way player, but his offense in the mid-range area kind of reminds me of I want to say Tyler Hero. He's like willing to take the mid-range. He has great footwork.
He's very athletic, and
he's very athletic. He's big.
That exactly. You don't think that when he's singing, but when he's playing, you're like, oh shit! Like he's got some moves. He can hop.
He's good. Yeah. It's from the G League too, so they always say something out of there.
Obviously, it's going to be fantastic.
It's suspect now at this point.
What are you
Someone should look into the Raptors G League? Like, what are they doing there? What are the rituals that are happening?
Like a behind the scenes documentary.
Yeah, of the Raptors G League. My next segment here is actually a suggestion from Iman. We were asking for questions, and she pointed out like what NBA players would make great politicians. So I think that would be a fun segment. Maybe we can focus on stars, and whoever's watching right now, put in your suggestions. We want to hear from you guys as well.
Yeah, we do.
NBA stars that would make good politicians. First of all, there's no such thing as a good politician. It's a flawed line of work to begin with. I guess who would make a convincing politician? Like who can easily who would go into that line of work and the transition might be pretty seamless. You know what I mean?
I want to say Chris Paul.
Yeah, that's a good one. I can see Chris
Paul being a really isn't he the president or part of the NBP?
Yeah. I believe he's the president of the Player Association. Yeah,
pretty sure. So I'm sure like he's got that leadership quality in him and everything. He's also very well composed and seems to have a good head on his shoulders for the most part. So I think he'd be very well versed in that area. I don't know what his policies would be like. I don't think I know that much about him yet, but we'll see.
He's probably going to be like a centrist, Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Like very Obama-esque, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, I have the best one. Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. Well, I can't see him being a politician. I can see him being like a radical or like an organizer.
Yeah, that's true. I think if I wanted to see one, it'd be Jaylen Brown. Like I think he would be the one that probably would connect to the most on the issues.
Or maybe he could be like those like a true leftist politician, you know what I mean? Like in the vein of like AOC or Bernie or Ilhan Omar. So
yeah, that's true.
Malcolm Brogdon, aka the Prez. Yeah, he sounds like a president. I think that's enough in US politics. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant.
He seems too emotional for me.
He feels too much. He's not enough of a sociopath to be a politician. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, he'd be tweeting.
His feelings
all the
get
breakdowns.
Hurt. Your feelings can't get hurt if you're a politician.
Have to be thick-skinned.
Jaylen Brown.
I don't think he's got that.
The revolution. Exactly. He would.
When we overthrow the government, I'm going to nominate Jaylen Brown just to lead the world.
Yes.
President of the UN. I don't know who else.
I mean, Trump is a politician. Yeah, but Trump is like a psycho, so it works. Let's see other suggestions. Do you have a suggestion? Someone that kind of popped into your head? You said Jaylen Brown, actually. So
Jaylen Brown, yeah. Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Kawhi probably would get the most work done. He's just not going to talk. Like he's just not going to have any press conferences. You're going to have no idea what's going on, but he'll get the shit done. But yeah, I guess the one probably best fit for the position is probably LeBron.
Harden to gerrymander. because he loves to
Because he
abuse the
loves to
rules.
abuse the rules. I'd love
Refuses
to
to
see
concede.
that.
Paul George lies like a politician. Haha. For no reason too.
Very true.
Let me think. I think Tobias Harris maybe. Like he would kind of be like a centrist guy. I feel like he's very friendly. Apparently he's very personable. He
Yeah,
seems
I
like
really liked him.
yeah.
Up until
seemed
he did
like
that commercial with Kamala Harris and CJ.
in
No,
like an airport hangar on leather couches.
they
That was
pulled
so
up
funny.
in their expensive suits, sat down, pulled up in their expensive suits in their private jets
Yeah.
to their private jets lined up right behind them. They're talking about working class people. How can you relate? Like, what are you like? Does no one see that oversight?
Does no one like no like executive assistant, no one say like, hey guys, this
Yeah,
is not
no one
good.
person on
No
set.
PR person was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, we're not hopping off private jets to talk to the American people.
Not one
during a
person
time of
was like, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe it's not good for optics. They're like, you know what? It looks good. We're talking about the working class. We should do this in our private jets. And that's
Dr. Omar. No, that's what. Sorry, I read Kyrie and I thought Dr. Omar because I feel like Kyrie wouldn't be a politician. I feel like he'd be someone on Twitter, sending us
he'd
clips.
be a personality.
Yeah, exactly. He's a person. He's. I feel like he's not someone willing to abide by the system. He does not like rules.
No,
he does not like Harden might abuse rules. Kyrie outright rejects them. He rejects hierarchies and power structures.
It's true though. It's so true. I can't see that working either.
Spencer Dinwiddie, I'm assuming. Spencer Dinwiddie. I think so. Yeah, I can see him being like a local politician.
I don't know if I trust him.
He would find like one issue to cling to, like something related to tech or something, and then appeal to like rich people.
I can't get over the fact that he started a GoFundMe for himself.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I could take that guy.
Choose my team for me and then pay the rest of my salary. I'll go anywhere you guys want. And then he got like $2,000 out of all. Jeez, we could have raised that for him.
The whole account after that. I know.
Dishes and Dimes could have raised that for him.
Should have come to our expertise. Masai. Yeah, Masai would be a really good one.
Yeah. He could probably be in like the Canadian cabinet, minister of tourism or minister of sport. Apparently there's a sports minister.
No
way. I read that the other day and I'm like, I would do that. But then he'd have to look over like hockey and winter sports. I'm not sure he's interested in that.
I doubt it.
Maybe like minister of like immigration or something.
He's just got that leadership quality in him.
Worldwide.
Yeah, seriously. Do you have other questions?
Sorry, yeah, let's see. Our election predictions. So that is the next portion. Do we have any other? Let's check. See if we have any other updates from the polls. I don't think there have been any other CNN breaking news. So we know that Trump won Indiana. So
yeah,
Oladipo remaining there is not a guaranteed deal.
Can't believe they'll already know. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the only. Biden wins Massachusetts, so I think that was pretty a given.
Yeah,
Massachusetts is historically blue, I believe. Mm-hmm. Free Brogdon, absolutely.
Our predictions. I don't know, man. Last 4 years ago, I thought it was going to be Hillary.
PTSD.
Yeah, well, like honestly, not that I cared for either of them at that point. So I was just like, whoever is the worst is going to get elected, whatever. But I thought it would be Hillary just because like that's what you were hearing in the polls. That's what people were saying that's what they're going to be voting for. And then the thing about Trump is that I don't think people realize that when you're asking people on the streets about who they're going to vote for, they understand now what the what the lashback is going to be if they say Trump. So they can, in person, they can just tell you that, yeah, they're going to vote for Biden. But when they go behind the voting booth,
I know what
they
you mean.
still fill in
Yeah,
Trump. You know what I mean? So I think that's what really drove Trump to win last time too,
that
because
silent majority.
exactly,
Yeah.
like they're complicit. They just don't want to admit it in public, but when they go behind that curtain, that's what they do. So at this point, like I know a lot of numbers were saying blue again. They were saying Biden's going to get that victory, but I just don't think that we take into account most people, and especially on Twitter. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, I see this, I see that," but Twitter is like 10% of the states. Like that's like the least popular social media
Trump
app.
won Florida. Sorry. I know that's
Really?
an important. Isn't Florida supposed to be like an
Yeah,
important?
it's huge.
See, we are two Canadians. My knowledge of swing states is minimal, so bear with us.
I don't
Oh
even know much about
no.
election days anymore. I was so interested
A
when
few years ago, I wanted to actually write. Like I knew I wanted to be a writer since I was a teenager, but I went to school and I initially studied like poli sci. I thought I'd do something in politics or something, and I follow politics so closely. And then literally 2016, I was like, I'm not doing this. It was like so deeply depressing. And then I just came
it's so
across
sad.
sports like a couple
Yeah,
years
I
later. I'm like,
know.
let me do this. This is fun. This is fun.
This is so much better. Yeah, I know. It's like
Uh,
2016. I was like, I'll watch it. I'll keep tabs on it just for Bernie and everything else. And then ever since then, I was like,
yeah, exactly.
America's just headed for the shitter. Like you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, they've got Biden and Trump running. But yeah, Florida's massive. If they got Florida,
Yeah.
oof. All of
Um,
Florida, right?
hmm?
All of the state of Florida, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I think that the electoral college votes are for the entire state, I believe. So um the next question was sorry. The comparison between I know that Iman was talking about this and Raptors Twitter was kind of talking about this at large because the election rhetoric and the voting, go out and vote campaigns and stuff kind of bled into the NBA, and there was like a huge effort to get people to vote, even from Raptors accounts and Raptors management. Even though there are, I think, less than 500,000 Americans living in in Canada
Yeah.
who are eligible to vote, so it's so funny because our elections, I literally find out an election's happening just a few weeks prior. That's when I
Yeah.
know it's like, oh, it's election season. A couple weeks later, I'm voting in the booth and I forget about it. It's done after that. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I take a couple moments to research my my writing and stuff, find out who's leading it, if he's crazy or not. And then I try to find out like what people I like to vote strategically. I know it's like a people have like their voting style. Some people vote strategically, some people don't vote at all. Like everyone has their preference.
Hmm.
And then I feel like our elections are just really brief. They don't last longer than I think 40 days or 2 months or
Yeah.
something.
And they don't get messy the way that the US does. Like the US just makes it a soap opera. Like we
Yeah.
do have slander ads. We do have
Yeah.
yeah, we do have all that, but it never crosses the line that the US takes it. Like it's very they still keep it very professional, very politics based, but the US it's like it's everywhere. Like it's that's all you hear about constantly. Canada's elections show up like an unwanted.
That is very
Yep.
true. And then it kind of like once it's over, you're like, okay, let's move on from
You're like, oh, it's
this.
done? All right. I know exactly.
Uh,
I don't know how the States does this, like every 4 years.
long or 1.5 years of just straight campaigning. And once someone's elected, after their first 2 years, they're already looking forward to who the
Next
party
one's gonna
nominee is
be.
going to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's exhausting. Like there needs to be a cap on the time frame. There
They
needs to be
make
a cap
so much
on money.
money off of it though. Like the news networks, the connections, the
It's like the off season
campaign
for them.
stadiums. Yeah, literally, like that's the off season for them. It's insane. Like it makes no sense. And I'm like, because I factor in like their ages. So look at Biden's age and Trump's age, and it's like
Yeah.
their schedules must be so hectic. And look at what they
Oh
have to
my
do.
god. Yeah.
And
I
they're
remember
like,
Hillary had like pneumonia and she got
yeah,
sick during it. I'm like, that would happen to
she
me. I'm
fell.
26.
She fell up here. I know.
26. I would collapse. I would have like
I
some
know.
sort of some
That's
sort of
why
like
I'm like,
ambiguous disease from the 1800s, like exhaustion, or she
and
has
it
the
would just
faint.
hit me, nobody else. It would just be me. I know. That's why I'm like, do you not like think to yourself at that point that maybe I'm too old for this shit? Like, let me just sit at home, retire, play with my grandkids. But no, I'm gonna screw up the future for everybody else, and I'm gonna be dead in the next 5 years. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's all they
Even
know for a lot of these people. They've been doing this since they were like, they're in their 70s now. They've been doing this since they were like 18, in their early 20s. They've been like interning and doing this. Like, politics is all they know. To them, it's a family business. It's not even
it's so gross.
A line of work to help people. It's like a generational thing. Their fathers,
exactly.
Their grandfathers, like it's so. It's like lords. Like how in the UK they used to have like lords and their children, and they'd inherited, and they'd be like, it just reminds me so much of that.
I know, that's exactly what it is. And it's not, the politicians aren't there to make your country better. They're there to go and make deals with people across the sea, and talk to people in the Middle East, and just make connections so they can get more money. Like it's all down
fortunes and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Even the president's running, like we're probably gonna go down a rabbit hole, but like it's for them, it's just leaving. And it sucks to see that, like, that's what the options have come down to, but it's the state of the states, I guess. We get to see what happens, and I can't believe Trump actually won Florida. Like, I knew like, Florida is a red state for sure, but I thought we were getting wind that maybe it was a little bit more divided this time or something like that, or at least Miami was a little bit more blue than before. But wild.
Yeah.
I guess we find out tonight at midnight, right?
Yeah. I kind of know what's gonna happen, but I thought I knew what it was.
Tell us, spoil it for us, Iman. Spoil it for us, Yasmin. Who's gonna win?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I think my brain tells me Biden will win, and it'll probably be a landslide situation. But at the same time, I'm like, that's what I thought in 2016. No one's possibly gonna vote for the guy from The Apprentice, right? And I loved The Apprentice as a kid. That was my favorite show. Thursday nights.
Oh, I can't hear you. Oh man. No. Can you hear me? You can hear me, right? Yeah. I can read. Wow, I can read lips. That's not bad. You just went mute. Still nothing. That's so weird. You can type it in the chat too if you want. Okay, I guess Yasmin will be back. Sorry about that. I don't even know if anyone's watching this. But that's pretty much our show. I'll wait for Yas to hop on. I know, free Yasmin. I can't even make your comment on the screen, Nassim. I'm sorry. I don't have the credentials for that. Okay, she'll be back in a second. Yeah, I don't have good things to say about the U.S. election. I don't think. Oh, you're back. I was like, no, I can't hear you. Fuck. It's okay. We're like wrapping it up anyway. Every single episode, something has to go wrong. Like, we should make a drinking game out of it by now. We'll be like pissed drunk before the election results. Thanks, Nazim. I know I do. I'm going to link my Cash App. I can't hear you. So weird.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear that. Yeah, now I can hear you. There you go.
That's
perfect.
What happened. I didn't pull anything. Nothing happened. I just had to.
That's so strange.
And try it again. That's so weird.
Okay, it was just done.
So, we bid farewell to our U.S. Listeners. I think something like over 20% of our listeners are American, which is crazy because we started out as a Raptors podcast.
And are for the most part, like, and on the season, we just talk about the Raptors too. It's not anybody else,
Yeah,
but maybe
enjoying
it's
the
Raptors
listening.
fans in the U.S. You
That
know,
too. That too.
we always forget that there's a huge bunch of us out there.
Yes. So, good luck tonight, guys. I hope it's good news for our sake too, to your neighbors up north. um,
Yeah, we should get
thoughts
voting
and
rights too
prayers.
for their elections. Like
Oh,
each
oh, you didn't
country should
vote.
have
I
like
voted anyways. I voted. I voted several times. I didn't. They just said, "Who are you?" I'm like, "My name's Yasmin." I
like
didn't
you
even
don't
give
need
them a
to
last
know.
name.
Yeah. You're like, this affects me too, bitch. I gotta vote.
Yeah, some old guy paid me, and I did it.
Amazing.
um, yeah.
But
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm hearing
Good
that if you're
luck.
Canadian, they'll let you do it too. So
Damn it, Yasmin, you went out again. You know what? That's a sign. I'll conclude on my end. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and for breaking away from your CNN screens for a little bit. If anyone's listening and wants immigration to Canada, you can enter our DM separately. Card, all your information. Let us know how much you make per year, how you plan on finding a job here, how much money you'll play. No, I can't hear you still. My bad. But just yeah, you can slide in our DMs. We can't have take everybody. So the best contender is gonna win. I'm really sorry. But good luck, take care of each other, stay inside, and go Biden, I guess. Bye.